Hi, I'm Dr. Weiner. I'm a bariatric surgeon in Tucson, Arizona. And I also have a website, drweiner.com. I've got a bunch of courses for patients who have had weight loss surgery or are planning on it. A lot of these courses are free. I've written a couple of books on Amazon. And people submit questions to me from all over the world, and I try to take a moment here and there to respond to them. So we've got a really interesting question from a patient who's had a sleeve in the past. So let's hear it in her own words.
Dr. Weiner, I have kind of an unusual situation. I'm 59 years old. I had sleeve surgery about a year ago, but prior to that, about 9 years ago, I had a failed bariatric surgery. I woke up and they told me that my liver was too large to do the surgery and I needed to lose 30 pounds. Well, I ended up losing 25 pounds, but it took me 8 years to do so. I had the sleeve and did not lose a great deal of weight. I'm bipolar, and that's really what this is all about. I had an emotional situation about 3 months after the surgery. Then 3 months after that, I got cancer, uterine cancer, which was successfully treated. But as a result, I've only lost this 30 pounds since the surgery in a year, and I'm down about 80 pounds from my top weight, which was 7 or 8 years ago. So I have lost some weight, but I'm stalled and I want to keep going. And I noticed you said earlier that bipolar people have a harder time with bariatric surgery than others. So if you could address that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, great question. Really two things going on here. The first is only losing about 30 pounds after surgery, but being 80 pounds down from their highest. And I think this brings up a really critical point, which is that if you lose a lot of weight going into surgery, especially if you lose it through some type of low-calorie diet or some temporary starvation method or medication, and then you're not taking the medication or you're eating a more normal diet, that oftentimes that weight loss that you lose before surgery kind of counts against your post-operative weight loss. So this person's 80 pounds down after a sleeve a year or so out. That's not an unreasonable amount of weight. She didn't mention her starting weight or anything like that, but that seems to me like that could be something that is in the realm of normal, especially with someone who struggles with bipolar disease, which is kind of the secondary issue here. And we do know that patients with bipolar disease tend to lose a little bit less weight after surgery. Most of us think it's due to the medications as opposed to some type of psychological instability. And that certainly has been my experience. So when I work with patients who have bipolar disease, and I've had tons of them over the years, I work with their psychologist or their psychiatrist to make sure that we come up with the most weight-neutral medication regimen we can come up with. Some medications that treat bipolar disease cause a lot of weight gain. Others really don't cause that much weight gain. But it doesn't mean that that's the right one for you. And a lot of times patients will go on and off, 3, 4, 5 different medications before they find one that allows them to have some emotional stability in their life. And so if you have that, and if you've really been through that, and it sounds like there's been a lot of emotional struggles in this person's life, that you're not so quick to just change the medicine around to help with weight loss. So it's a very difficult balancing act between emotional stability and weight loss. And often the two tend to be a little more intertwined and not just separate issues. So working with a good psychiatrist on that and optimizing your regimen, and then recognizing that the chips are stacked a little bit against you in this situation. I typically recommend a gastric bypass for bipolar patients, just because if they're on a medication that's going to cause weight gain, I really want to offer the most powerful weight loss surgery we have, but that's certainly not a blanket recommendation, and I would obviously tailor that to each individual patient. So in this case, this person's probably going to have to eat better than most people do after weight loss surgery. They may have to exercise a little bit more and work a little bit harder at their weight loss. It certainly doesn't mean it's impossible, and I think at this point 80 pounds down from their highest weight is a pretty reasonable result. Even though a lot of it was before the surgery. So I think those are some points that I would make. It's obviously a very complicated problem and one that requires some evaluation over time and some adjustment with some practitioners who really have a good understanding of weight loss. If you have any questions, feel free to post them at drweiner.com. Everybody stay safe out there. Thanks.